You're listening to High School Sports Talk on ESPN Radio, presented by VirginiaPreps.com. Now let's get back to your hosts, Matt Hatfield and the coach, Ed Young.
And we've got a special guest on the line here. He is the head men's basketball coach of the Virginia Wesleyan University Marlins. If I've got my stats and figures right, career record of 395 and 133 in 18 seasons, 5 ODAC titles, and that 2006 national championship. They got their Blue Marlin team camp all weekend long. We'll be over there later today, and we say good morning to our pal, Coach Dave Macedo. Coach, how's life treating you?
Good morning, guys. Great to be with you.
Well, it's our pleasure. Let's start off with... Of course, you got your Blue Marlin team camp over there. Tell the folks about that. What year for you guys in the camp?
Well, I think it's number 18 for us, and it's always a fun weekend. It's just great seeing familiar faces, a bunch of coaches that we've consider regulars, consider friends, and just being around people with long-standing relationships. And then our guys all get together and really service everyone, and so it's a good way to get connected. It's a good way to be around everyone, and great to watch some high school basketball from some of the top tier teams in the area.
No doubt about it. A lot of quality teams, players, and coaches involved. And right now you got going on Western Branch, Portsmouth Christian, Grafton, Bethel, Peninsula Catholic, Tallwood, and Cox against Nansemond River. So during this segment, trust me, Coach Young will be wanting periodic updates of how his team is doing.
Yeah, I don't know if I could provide each one. We got 4 courts going at once, but I could tell you I'm peeking my head in at every last one.
Dave, I'm not worried about the other 3 courts. You got to tell me what the Warrior kids are doing eventually. You've got 19 assistants. Send one of them out there. If they can't do that, then we hire the 20th guy.
I understand completely, Coach. Believe me, I do.
A couple things I want to touch on, Coach, and we'll get into some of your players for this coming year as well. But tell the audience what the life is for a college basketball coach, and you guys at the Division III level in the summer months, what you guys are doing. You have camps going on, but sort of give them a behind-the-scenes peek if you can.
Well, at the Division III level, Matt, as you know, there's no really live or dead periods. It's all kind of clumped into one big, always in season type approach. So we are always trying to take advantage of the opportunities that come our way and see as many, AAU tournaments and team camps and exposure events that we can see, and really just kind of target the kids that catch our eye, the right players, the players that, are good for our brand and that we think will be successful in a Marlin jersey. So that kind of, it takes place all of May, a lot of June with some team camps. And then July, obviously, is the big live period, and that's got the AAU events for, pretty much 3 weeks straight. And we try to, really have the last hurrah of the summer be one of our exposure events, our team camp. And that seems to be a good time for everyone to kind of come together at the end of the summer. And then I think it dies down a little in August, and people get ready for the upcoming school year. But it's always, an in-season approach, and it's something that we've kind of, that comes your way, and you expect, and you look forward to it. And we're just fortunate to have some good assistants, and that really enjoy getting out there and being around all the prospective student athletes.
I know one of the things Coach Young says, and I imagine you'll echo, is, you want to win championships, you want to win games, but the things that you're really most proud of sometimes are the guys that come back from your program and make an impact and do things not just on the basketball court, but off it. And I noticed that the ODAC announced its annual academic team, 137 Virginia Wesleyan student athletes across 22 sports were recognized. And to get that recognition, you got to have a student athlete participate in at least one ODAC-sponsored sport with a minimum GPA of 3.25. So you guys not only getting it done on the court, but also getting the books in the classroom, too.
Well, our student athletes at the university deserve a lot of credit, as do the coaches. They do a great job. And like you touched on with, the alums, it's just great to see them all go out and be successful and then have them all around here. It's like a mini reunion, this weekend, because they all come back and they all peek their head in the gym. And, they're just around our current players, which is nice for them to teach, to give back, to just be around them, be a presence so our guys can all see them. It's a lot of fun for us. I think we all look forward to that. The alums play such a pivotal role in tradition and the success of our program. And, anytime you see them do bigger and better things, and that's what it's all about. And now I'm getting old, Matt, they all got, children. So all their children are hanging around and coming to our camps. And, for me, that's a lot of fun to see.
Yeah, never a bad thing. We're chatting with Dave Macedo. He's the men's basketball coach at Virginia Wesleyan University. Got the Blue Marlin team camp this weekend. It's high school sports talk presented by VirginiaPreps.com on ESPN Radio 94.1, Ed.
Yeah, and Dave, that camp is a family affair. I met the co-director yesterday, your young daughter. Then I met the overall director, your wife. So I said, well, what does Dave Macedo do? And your wife said, I've been asking that question for years. And then she walked off. So I don't know what she meant by that. I don't want to start anything.
She tells it how it is, and I appreciate her honesty. I can say that. She's always good for a laugh. But she's definitely the one steering the ship.
Well, Dave, the other thing, most people understand Division I recruiting, Division III recruiting is extremely different. You kind of touched on it without getting too in-depth. We know Division I, they look for those higher-up selected ranked players. They offer scholarship. Division III, yours is a little different. You don't have scholarship money. You do have grant and aid. So
right.
In a nutshell, can you give us like your philosophy of what you do at Wesleyan in terms of kind of what Division III has to do for
Sure. I think, I don't think it changes much from the students that fit your profile. I think we're all looking for our own niche and the type of student athletes we like to coach, the type of kids that we want to be around, the type of kids that think team and that, would be good for our community and good for our program. I think Division I is probably the same in those respects. I think it just differs for what they're able to offer a young man from a full scholarship to, for us, it's through financial aid and through the financial aid process. That consists of, really filling out the FAFSA form, getting an estimated family contribution that allows our school to really look in depth at their finances, the young man's finances, his parents, his family income, and then, render a package, a financial aid award based on his, criteria, his academics, probably, in-state versus out-of-state, just his overall status. And then they would, kind of, I think, put together something that was as competitive as possible and, mix in some student loans. I think that's part of the financial aid award is going to be student loans. And, really try to be, in the mix as far as versus other competitors as best they can. And I think all Division IIIs, are going through that process. But unfortunately, it's not a full scholarship. They're going to have to repay back the loans, but I think it's a good investment in a young man's future and finding the right fit. For us, it's all about finding the right fit for a prospect, somebody who maybe wants to be a bigger fish in a smaller pond, somebody who feels like they can play right away and contribute to a winning program and, wants to be at a smaller school, whatever their interest may be.
Now, with that also in mind, some changes over there, if I'm not mistaken. You have a new president, new AD. Can you enlighten us on that?
Well, Dr. Miller is our school's president. He's been here just finishing, I think, his third year. He's done some great things here at the university. Really hit the ground running. You can see the transformation on campus. You can see a lot of, initiative that he's taken to put in place new programs. We have a new Marlin. We've changed from a college to a university status. Just, a lot of things like that. To build our brand. And I think he's done a great job with that. And we just recently have, hired a new athletic director, Joanne Wren, our longtime AD, great friend, great mentor, has stepped down and, just really taken a new opportunity and, has moved on and has really, set the framework and the ground for the next athletic director, who's Tina Hill. And she's coming to us by way of Randolph College. Really excited. Just had our first meeting with her. She just joined us July 1st, and looking forward to her leadership and the direction she wants to take athletics in the coming years. I've always had, known Tina from when we traveled to Randolph, but just to be around her has been very impressive.
And Coach, looking at your roster, and we're talking with Dave Macedo, head men's basketball coach at Virginia Wesleyan here on ESPN Radio 94.1. It's High School Sports Talk presented by VirginiaPreps.com. Only a few seniors from last year, and you bring back almost the entire team. Saw a lot of those faces last night, whether it was Keon Honore of Potomac or some of the local faces such as Davon Brown of Norview, Lamont Stewart also of Norview, Damon Showers, Green Run, Kelvin Nicholson of Cox. The list goes on of the local players on your team, and certainly that's always an emphasis for you guys in recruiting. And you got to feel pretty good about this year with so many faces that you're familiar with coming back.
We do. We returned 17 players. I think we've added 5. It'll really be a competitive preseason. There's always a competitive culture. But I think there's a lot of the right kind of kids, the right pieces, and hopefully we've taken the next step in our maturity. This off season, I think the guys, from what I could tell, have worked very hard. I think they're hungry, and anyone wants to really have the opportunity to coach hungry kids that, want to win, that, think team, that are all about each other. And I think we haven't been as complete maybe the last couple of years as we've wanted to be or hoped to be. And I think we'll be a little thicker down low. I think our brand, is speed, length, athleticism. I think we will have that a little bit more, more of that at each position. So we're, just able to be versatile. But, time will tell. We need to stay healthy. We certainly need to continue to grind. And we look forward to the school year coming up. But there's a lot of good pieces there, Matt, and hopefully I don't screw them up. I know Coach Young says that all the time. And, just kind of let them come together and, form their own identity and hopefully provide some good leadership for us. And those are the things we're looking for right now.
I don't think you'll screw it up at all, and almost closing in almost 20 years there, Coach, with nearing that 400 mark, I believe, for wins, and you won the national championship, have numerous tournament appearances. I was saying to Coach earlier, and you've had some decorated players, names such as Brandon Adair comes to mind, who's now doing some NBA Summer League officiating we see, and DJ Woodmore, and so many names come to mind. I wanted to get your take on, in all your years there at Wesleyan, any name or a couple of names come to mind that you felt were kids that maybe got the most, and even overachieved to what you thought when you recruited them. They could be local or just in general. A couple of other Marlins besides the names like Adair and Woodmore that come to mind for you.
Yeah. Well, the obviously players, national players this year and All-Americans, you kind of knew what you were getting from day one. They just kind of get it in so many ways. But, we would term that, Matt, some of the greatest winners we've had come through the programs, guys that have played their role to a T, that, have just done everything asked of them, and whether it's come off the bench or, be part of a winning team, it's those kind of kids that, obviously I think with your question maybe stand out to me. A kid like a DeJuan Tucker, who came off the bench for us for 3 years and a senior year started, but, has an overall career record of probably, rivals anyone. I think it was 105 and 21 in his 4 years. One of the greatest winners we've ever had, with 4 NCAA tournament appearances and making runs in the tournament. I think people like that, Donald Vaughn, to me, is one of those guys that maybe didn't get as much recognition, but was probably the best athlete in the country for 3 years and, really led his team to numerous NCAA tournaments. And the list can go on and on. I think everybody has a point where they play development from year to year, grow and continue to get better. And that's, really big at our level. But besides the first team all conference kids, the kids that do all the little things, the kids that, really are a coach's dream, that we all need those kind of role players to make us better, or, really good players that didn't quite get the recognition because they're on a really talented team. And that seems to be some of the guys we're looking for, every year.
Well, it should be fun the rest of this weekend. You got the Blue Marlin team camp. You got games going on all throughout today until about 6 or 7 o'clock tonight. And tomorrow you guys start at what time?
I think we're going to start about 9:30, depending on how the brackets come out today, Matt.
Okay.
We'll be putting those together. We'll have 3 different brackets and 3 different award winners, and just kind of see where everything falls into place today, depending on the matchups.
Always a fun on a championship or tournament Sunday, if you will. So get a little taste of basketball here as we are winding down the days in the summer. Coach, thanks so much, and we'll see you later today. All right.
All right. Thanks, guys. As always, appreciate you.
All right, Dave. See you soon.
Thanks, guys.
That is Dave Macedo, head men's basketball coach with us here of Virginia Wesleyan University on ESPN Radio 94.1 High School Sports Talk presented by VirginiaPreps.com. He's done an amazing job there, Ed, and it's also incredible they've been able to keep him from going to a higher level. He's certainly been happy and content. I don't mean that in any negative way whatsoever to Virginia Wesleyan. They got great facilities, tremendous program there, but you would figure that someone at Division I, Division II level, especially as much coaching turnover as there is, that they would have swooped him up by now and given him the big bucks. And he stayed there, and you got to also admire his loyalty too there.
I think it's a combination of that where, Dave's happy. He's done just an absolute tremendous job at a very tough place to win. Most Division IIIs are tough, but his administration over the years, they put into that entire athletic program at Wesleyan. They've just done a tremendous job. They've done it the right way, which I wish more schools would do. And I'm sure Dave, he'll never admit it, he's a very humble guy. He's probably had the opportunity to move on, but why leave a good situation? Yeah, money, yes. You're going to leave for more money. It's the American way. Nobody can fault you. But when things are going good and you have a good feeling and you feel good going to work, and Dave and I had these discussions, why would you really consider leaving somewhere else that might be a uphill struggle, and then you don't get what they may promise you, or it's not, grass is not always greener on the other side. It could be artificial turf, so to speak. So, he's just done a tremendous job.
Artificial turf?
Yeah, that's the other part of that, grass is greener on the other side. I looked these sayings up. One of these days I want to write me a book on these crazy sayings that especially coaches do.
I believe you're going to write